I would like to take a few minutes to walk you through the grading section of the syllabus. And this may be something that you'll want to review every few weeks to do a little self-assessment to see where you are in the class. I will also provide you with regular updates, little assessments on your academic standing so that you know what your potential grade is at any time. So let's take a look here on page 5 and work through the next page or so together. Here I write, this is a portfolio-based course that uses a contract grading system to identify final course grades. So we're going to talk both about the portfolio aspect and some ways that you can keep track of your work, and we'll talk through the grading contract part. So regarding the portfolio, you're going to see that I will link you to a Microsoft OneDrive folder with your that is labeled with your Access ID. And that is a place where you can drop in any materials for projects 1, 2, and 3 so that when you prepare to review your work from the semester in your reflection in project 4, you have everything in one place. And this then ideally is a strategy you might use in other courses to keep track of your materials. You're going to create a lot of documents in your classes in college, and so keeping track of those so that you can find them at a later time is really useful and important. So I have that note here. From the first day of class, students will think through processes of collection and selection by which to develop your writing portfolios, and each individual project in our class is going to be evaluated based on a rubric. So we'll be looking at whether you meet the requirements of an assignment, you go above and beyond those requirements to demonstrate excellent writing, or if you still need to work through revision, either in that project or maybe attend better to revision in certain areas the next time we do a project. So toward the end of the semester, we'll talk about how you will look through that portfolio to find information and present an argument about that in project 4. So more on that later. Right now, I want to talk with you about the grading contract and how that works, because you may be used to classes where you have a point system and maybe you get like 1,000 points for the semester and everything you do kind of adds up. In contrast, this class is set up using a grading contract which sets out expectations for your work in the class. I expect that you meet those expectations, and then excellent writing in the projects will help take you above and beyond the sort of meets requirements grade of the class. So let's just read through this. Drafts, reflections, peer response assignments, and other weekly writing assignments receive a complete or incomplete grade and written feedback. Okay, so that means that when you get your grade on something like the week 1 reading practice or one of the assigned reflections or turning in a draft, you will see that it doesn't get a letter grade, it doesn't get an amount of points, it just says complete or incomplete, and I will give you feedback on that document to help you keep moving through the rest of your projects. The formal projects of the class, Project 1, Project 2A, Project 2B, Project 3, and Project 4 get letter grades. And those letter grades show on the rubrics whether you meet the requirements for the assignment, and that's a B. You exceed the requirements, and that's in this range, B plus, A minus, or A. Or you need more revision, C minus, C plus, or B minus. Actually, that should be a C. Projects that do not meet the minimum requirements or are missing major things will receive F or D grades. So this B then is like the standard grade of the class. If you meet the expectations of homework and projects, you will definitely get a B in the class. So to earn a B in the course, you must submit required drafts of your projects on time, and you can see those due dates in the calendar. You must submit or demonstrate formal projects that meet the minimum requirements for each project. We'll go down and look at a rubric in a second. And you must participate in the course learning activities. So completing your homework assignments, completing peer response activities on time, and attending our composition learning community student writing showcase. And we'll talk about how to manage that a little bit later in the semester too. So if you do these things, you will get a B in the class. If you do good studenting, which is not really a verb, but I'm making it one anyway, you will get a B in the class. Some of you may be thinking, okay, well that's great, a B is fine, a B is a good grade, but I would really like to get something higher than that. So to earn a grade higher than a B, so like a B plus, an A minus, or an A, you need to meet all of these expectations still, and you must demonstrate excellent written work in your formal projects. So project 1, project 2A, 2B, project 3, and project 4. And I average those grades together to determine whether your final grade is higher than a B. If you don't meet the minimum requirements of the class, you will earn a grade lower than a B. So a C, C plus, B minus, or depending on if you're not turning in projects, a D or an F. So I hope it's pretty clear that my expectation in this class is that you are participating in completing all of the assignments, turning in all of the drafts, doing peer response activities, and that by doing those things, by putting a good faith effort into being a student in this writing class, you're earning a B, but you're also making steady progress in your writing. You're doing the writing exercises, the writing practice, the investment in work that it takes to be a better academic writer. And often the byproduct of that then is attention to revision, thoughtful writing, and that can, end up in higher grades than a B. But I know not writing isn't everybody's thing. It may not be your most exciting part of this semester, but I hope that you feel that by seeing it as an investment of practice, and by our class working this way, you'll feel that sort of motivation and intention to improve your academic reading, research, writing, and reflection. Let's jump down and look at a rubric so you can see what I'm talking about when I keep mentioning the words rubrics. So at the end of each project description, you'll see a section called evaluation, and I have 3 columns, and I use these columns to leave you notes and final feedback for your project. In the middle, I have the requirements for the project. So these are things that are described in the assignment description, and I want to make sure that they're all present in the project. If you meet the requirements of the project, you'll get a B in the class, or on the project, I'm sorry. If you want something higher than a B, I'll note like maybe some parts of this are going really well, so you'll see me highlight those things that are going really, really well, beyond expectations. And then also, and it's very likely that we'll all have things we need to work on in our projects. So you'll see notes over here as well, so that you can tune into which parts of your projects really need attention. It's likely, especially in the first couple projects, that you'll see a little bit on both sides. But we'll talk about how to continually improve that writing. Please let me know if you have questions about this grade contract. Like I said, I'll be giving you updated progress reports and things like that as often as I can throughout the semester. But you can also use that grade contract to do some self-assessment, kind of check off, making sure you are doing all of your assignments, so that you can be confident that you're meeting that B grade.